good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What I'd like to do is really introduce you to the power industry and how it exists on the Isle of Man, and make some comparisons with the marketplace in the UK, just to spell out the main differences, but at the same time to really differentiate the Isle of Man compared to other island economies. So the question will be really looking at as the Isle of Man's position relative to the UK, and then look at some of the clean tech developments that have occurred so far, and really promoting the Isle of Man as a test bed for new technologies. So in terms of the model, really, I suppose the MEA probably 15 years ago was the old traditional model of generation, transmission, distribution, supply. What we've done is we've actually built an offshore system there, and we actually supply 25% of our power now goes into the UK, and we actually buy gas through the Irish transmission system and sell secondary gas capacity to the Republic of Ireland. At the same time, I said we're developing almost like a test bed for new clean tech technologies. We've talked to a number of people regarding things like smart energy storage systems, electric vehicles, biomass, micro CHPs. So overall, probably this diagram isn't to scale really, but just the Isle of Man has been exaggerated in this case. But it's just to show that it's a green island and it's well interconnected. As I said, we have a major subsea connector that's been established now for about 13 years over to the UK. We can almost argue that we keep the lights on in Blackpool and so on. But at the same time, as I said, that cable is used to access, I suppose, our diesel generation, which is actually provided to the likes of National Grid in terms of emergency supplies. And as I said, we've also got to tap into an Irish pipeline that serves both the power station and the local gas company. So in general, really, so the red line is the gas pipeline running to the power station. But since this diagram was done, the red line, you can almost imagine, almost follows the green line now in terms of there's a new network expansion there, and gas is now supplied, natural gas is supplied to around about 90% of Manx Gas's customers, 10% still in LPG. But one of the big issues about the island is that we're very long in generation. So apart from the power station, we've got, as I said, we installed a new gas-fired station about 10 years ago, 80 megawatts. This just about meets the island load at maximum peak. But at the same time, we've got around 80 megawatts of diesel plant, and as I said, we've got that triple resilience. If we lose the gas-fired station, we lose the power cable, we've got diesels to back up on, really. So it's a very resilient system, and it's something that I'm trying to sell to data center operators who are trying to make sure, I suppose, that they've got almost like a tier 3 type, and possibly even tier 4 type capability for data centers. So in generally, I suppose it's general picture of the Isle of Man demand, typical of, say, the UK, but probably 1,000 times smaller. There's a very strong interconnection with the UK. We both export power on a regular basis, and with power stations now we import. Very long in generation, and that generation, we believe, should be there probably for the next 15 to 20 years, unless we ever say some rapid growth in the Isle of Man. So we think we're safe in that respect, and we're looking at, so it gives us like a 10, 15-year window to look at new technologies, look at new renewables and so on. We're not in the same situation as the UK, where I think coal-fired stations closing down, nuclear is closing in the next 5 to 10 years and so on, and therefore they're looking at every possible means to invigorate their generation marketplace. And at the same time, so we're very strong on the gas side too. We have transmission rights on the gas pipeline, which enables us to sell secondary gas capacity to 3 gas shippers in the Republic of Ireland. But it gives, for the finance people, it gives you almost like a lot of optionality there, really, in terms of, as I say, we can move from gas right through to the power station, into exports into the UK, or we can reverse that flow and therefore open up optionality on the gas pipeline to additional secondary sales. So again, the big difference really, the MEA, still state-owned, vertically integrated, to the point where just 2 years ago we had 5 retail shops. We eventually put out of retail, probably maybe 10, 15 years after everybody else did in the UK. But we still, as I said, we still have the general value chain in terms of the position of the MEA. we've, I said, we've landed ourselves with a fairly large debt because the expenditure that's supposed to occur in the UK over the next 10, 20 years, we probably did in the space of 4 years. You know, we spend close to 300 million, almost like 5 times our turnover in the space of 4 years. But that's almost like gold plate to the system, and it should be good for the next 20 years. And as I said, one of the growth markets for us is telecoms, especially data centres. We've introduced a new high load factor tariff, which is very competitive with the UK, but at the same time we're selling the resilience of the system too. And one of the big issues, I suppose, for renewables is that I suppose it's been a slow take-up, essentially because we don't provide any ROC benefits, CFDs or feed-in tariffs. But because of that slight price premium on electricity, probably bigger on the gas side, that almost provides I suppose, the drivers to encourage renewables. So, you know, saying Isle of Man, in terms of generation, very long generation and very resilient in terms of customer minutes lost. In terms of small scale, I suppose what's happening already, okay. Power stations, as I said, state-of-the-art power station, and it's I suppose one of a few prizes in terms of the looks of the power station. And as I said, it supplies the waste heat goes to the local sports centre. So we've got a small, I suppose, district heating scheme, and some of the heat is used for supplying heat to the local offices, and at the same time, diesel power stations next door. That keeps the diesel power station warm, really, because we've got special standby contracts where National Grid can call us within 10-15 minutes of response time, and if we need a station warm, to actually respond very quickly to any problems in the UK. Again, biomass operations, you know, we've got the advantage that we've got our own very large suppliers of wood chips, and as I say, the biomass operations are in one of the large secondary schools, and the Department of Food, Environment and Agriculture HQ, and a couple of social housing developments been using biomass as a central boiler system. In terms of transportation, well, we've always had horse trams, they're still there, even after 40, 50 years. We've progressively moved on to, I suppose, electric cars, and there's a big influx now of electric cars, especially hybrid cars, but you've got none of that range anxiety in the Isle of Man. As Ken said, it's only 30 miles long, 10 miles wide, so you should have plenty of charging that battery for 2 or 3 days, really, never mind just the one day. And as we've introduced electric cars into our own fleet, and we have a special leasing arrangement which tends to de-risk the project in terms of you know, what happens to batteries after 2 or 3 years or whatever. You know, we just give it back to the manufacturer, and it's their problem. And as I said, we've got the electric motorbikes too. In terms of clean tech developments, what we're trying to do is maximise the use of I suppose some of our green generation. You know, we've had a megawatt hydro station there now for 30 years, and we've more or less, I suppose, followed the procedure in, say, in the UK in terms of providing matching funding, providing us like a green tariff. And that green tariff is really earmarked for helping the fuel vulnerable, but at the same time providing seed capital for renewable projects. So we've got a number of key clients. We've got Marks and Spencer's on board. Turns out Marks and Spencer's, all their stores were on the green tariff apart from the Isle of Man. So it gives a good opportunity to introduce a green tariff from the Isle of Man and meet their obligations, their Plan A obligations. We've also got, again, another state-of-the-art electricity from waste plant. So we're supposed to be shared like a Danish warship type of thing, really. So again, I suppose no expenses spared in terms of actually aesthetic value and so on. And as I said, there's a number of CHP plants in the Isle of Man, you know, feeding both hospitals, hotels, and so on. And there's a small growing cluster of domestic micro wind and solar panels. And as I say, at the same time, we're in a position where you know, we've introduced some energy-eye software which enables people to look at their energy consumption, but provides us some. One of the areas we're looking at is demand management. Some of the data centres, some big hospitals, have got very large diesel generation in the background. That's hardly been used in the past. And here's the chance now on a small island basis to produce our own demand response on an island. So in a way, as we're looking at the future, it's almost saying, well, we've got strong expertise in generation networks, and it's moving towards from almost like an engineering type culture to more customer focus, and looking at the demand side, and looking at to more closely involved with some of the commercial issues on the domestic side and the commercial side. So we're looking at services selling product. We're looking at basically service level agreements for whether it's lighting or heating or whatever. So we're trying to move into the heating and transportation services, particularly on the electricity side, because like most utilities, we've got the threats of a better generation and energy efficiency. But to I suppose, fast track a lot of the processes, we're looking at third-party involvement. So we established a relationship with Stroma here. We'll be talking later, and we'll look at other parties with really expertise in that particular area, which enables us to accelerate the development process. So in terms of the smart island, as I said, we've got the existing generation and the subsea cable. And again, we've got ties into 1 and 2 universities, and looking at one of the big issues for us is seaweed on the beaches, and it's looking at whether we can use that seaweed to transform it into a feedstock for either a biofuel or for running a small generating set. Again, we've got the capability for wind and tidal, and essentially battery storage too. Really, we're looking at smart grid systems, and we've talked to a number of people now, either on battery storage on a larger scale across the island, or on the domestic side to take advantage of things like LED lighting. LED lighting's fed on DC. There's a capability maybe to provide some demand management response by getting people switching off the network onto their domestic batteries and taking the peak lighting load off the system. Again, that just gives that much longer to talk to third parties about renewable schemes, and enables us to extend the life of the existing assets. So, and again, as I said, electric vehicles, electric motorbikes are all in the play. So as I said, we'll leave any questions till the end of the session.